Say man, hey man, this right here is called A Decade of Ducking, the story of Gervonta Davis. Viewers' discretion is advised. This might make a meat musher bite blood out your bottom. This is a story about the most consistent ducker in the sport, not just the sport of boxing, but in the combat sport that's ever made it to the top of the game. Let's get into it. Smash the like button. You know what I'm saying? If I make you bite blood out your bottom lip, smash the thumbs down. But man, let's get into it. Gervonta Davis, man, like everybody talking about it, this Jake Paul stuff, I knew it was coming. I just didn't know it was going to be announced yesterday. No surprise. But let's get into it. A Decade of Ducking starring Gervonta Davis. Let's go all the way back for those who don't know, because he got a lot of fans that don't know shit about boxing, don't know the history of Gervonta Tank Davis ducking, been ducking his whole career, but we just gonna get into it. First, when Tevin Farmer was on the top of his game, you know what I'm saying? When Tevin Farmer was the slick Tevin Farmer, you couldn't hit him, you know what I'm talking about? You couldn't hit him with a fly swat. Tevin Farmer had that defense that was on point, right? The young boxer in his prime against, well, I ain't gonna say Tank was in his prime, but the young Gervonta Davis against a Tevin Farmer that was coming into his prime. Well, we know how that ended. It didn't end well because the fight never happened because Gervonta Davis ducked out of that.
We can't even mention Tevin Farmer no more. We can't mention Tevin Farmer no more.
Then came Lomachenko. Yeah, y'all remember the young Lomachenko that was stopping everybody and making everybody quit on the stool. Well, that was a big fight back then. Not the old Lomachenko that Tank tried to pick off with a back injury and, he was washed up. Not that Lomachenko. We talking about the Lomachenko that was really on his A game when Tank was supposed to be that ninja as well. Well, the funny thing about it, Tank ducked him so bad, Floyd Mayweather knew he was scared, and Floyd Mayweather threatened Tank with a Lomachenko fight. When do you ever hear a promoter having to threaten their fighter against another fighter? Floyd knew he was scared of Lomachenko. I ain't gonna say, but Floyd knew he ain't gonna fight Lomachenko. I ain't gonna use the word scared. But y'all can just, use whatever word you want for that. But Floyd knew it. Then y'all forgot about Mikey Garcia. Remember when Tank was going up to 140, he doing all this, Tank was that guy. Well, Mikey Garcia wanted that smoke. Yeah, let's make it happen. They was talking about it for a minute. What happened? It ain't never happened because Tank didn't want that smoke. Then Gary Russell got on his hip. Gary Russell was calling him all type of B's and hoes and disrespecting him to the fullest. What Tank say about Gary Russell?
Gary Russell Jr., I believe he's too small. Gary Russell Jr., I don't think that's a fight that makes sense right now because it's something we looking at. If we building a star, it don't make sense.
Then Gervonta Tank Davis had Floyd Mayweather call Gary Russell Jr. personally and tell Gary Russell to leave my fighter alone. Leave Tank alone. Even went behind the scenes and told Al Heyman, make him leave Tank alone. I know this for a fact because somebody that was involved at the time told me this out of their own mouth. Bite blood out your bottom lip. Y'all go bite blood out your bottom lip, for real. Like I told y'all, viewers' discretion is advised. Y'all hate the truth, but I'm going to give y'all the truth. Then came the 140-pound debate. But the only problem is he fought Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios that was actually really coming off an ass whooping. Y'all go back and check the resume. Go back and do your research. Mario Barrios had got his ass whooped, eye swole up out that big, and got a biggest gift decision, one of the biggest gift decisions I ever seen in boxing. But they gave it to Mario Barrios because they were setting up a fight with Tank and Barrios. Well, Tank go up to 140, fight Barrios, when Josh Taylor had all the straps. Why you fight Mario Barrios when you got somebody up there that got all the straps, but you want to fight Mario Barrios for regular email WBA strap? Okay. Well, if that ain't enough, he came back around and ducked Gary Russell again. Now, I don't know if the order is correct, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? Ducked Gary Russell again, right? And brought up Leo Santa Cruz.
Gary Russell Jr., I believe he's too small. Gary Russell Jr., I believe he's too small.
Yeah, he brought up little Leo Santa Cruz instead of Gary Russell. And the thing about that, Leo Santa Cruz was ducking Gary Russell at that same time. So the two ducks got in there, and we know how that fight ended, just how it should have ended, with Tank knocking him spark the F out. Then he ducked Devin Haney.
You don't look like I ducked Devin Haney. Clout baby. We're gonna call him Clout baby. He looking for the clout.
Call Devin Haney a young clout baby. I ain't fighting him, he just a clout baby, right? We gonna go to Conor Benn, right? He called out Conor Benn, talking about he'll whoop Conor Benn, make it happen. Well, little did he know, is Conor Benn actually wanted that smoke. Conor Benn called his bluff, got on the phone with Eddie Hearn. Hey, go ahead and send him $15 million guaranteed, and we can make the rest on the back end. Yeah, when he called Tank bluff, oh yeah, I was just playing. Said he was trolling. Yeah, he was trolling all right. They called his bluff. Duck Conor Benn. Then he came back around and ducked Devin Haney again. His team was running around talking about Devin too big. Tank ain't moving from 135. Tank too little. He's a 135-pound fighter. Why y'all want Tank to do this and why y'all want Tank to do that? Well, because Tank ain't did shit yet. That's why we want Tank to do something. Duck Devin. Let Teofimo Lopez call him all type of bees. Call him a monkey. You know what I'm saying? Call him all type of shit on several different occasions. Ain't had nothing to say to Teo. Duck Teo. Then comes Shakur Stevenson, right? Flat out duck Shakur Stevenson. Told y'all that Shakur Stevenson was on an imaginary list, right? He gonna knock Shakur Stevenson out. He got him on the list. When they asked Tank, well, where is Shakur Stevenson at on that list? If he's on your imaginary list, where is he at? Because if you got a list, you would know what order he in. I don't know. He's somewhere on there. And then turn around and tell you, why should I have to fight Shakur Stevenson? He ain't never did nothing. He ain't did nothing in his career. Matter of fact, Shakur ain't even got no defense. All he know how to do is jump back. Oh, shit. Right? But meanwhile, he fight Pitbull Cruzes, Frank Martins, Rolly Romero's. We ain't even gonna get into all that. Then turned around, brought up Lamont Roach to 135 to duck Shakur Stevenson again. Hey, he brought up Lamont Roach just so he wouldn't have to fight Shakur Stevenson, right? We see what happened in the Lamont Roach fight. Got a gift decision. Got grease in his eye. Told the world he got grease in his eye. So that's why he took a knee, right? Got a draw, a gift draw, right? Because he lost the fight. He got a gift draw. And then to top it off, this nigga turned around and ducked Lamont Roach. After all the ducking he's been doing for a whole decade, he ducked Lamont Roach to fight Jake Paul. like I told y'all he was gonna do. The story of the biggest ducker, the biggest consistent ducker in the sport of boxing that ever made it to the top. As far as the Jake Paul fight, man, I wouldn't even have a problem with Tank fighting Jake Paul. I really wouldn't. And I really don't have a problem with Tank fighting Jake Paul to keep it a buck because I knew this was the move that he was gonna make. I've been telling people for years he wasn't gonna fight none of these guys. Like I've been telling y'all for shit at least 4 years that he was never gonna fight none of these dudes. Been saying it. But the only reason that people have a problem with him fighting Jake Paul, the real was that dude, is because he ain't done nothing. As far as fighting the top competition, he ain't done nothing to be able to go and fight a Jake Paul in the exhibition or whatever they finna do, right? Now, if he had fought some of these dudes, win, lose, or draw, we would have been like, okay, well, look at his resume. You know what I'm saying? He done fought Devin, he fought Shakur, he fought whoever else, and he deserved to fight a Jake Paul. Let the man get his bread, you know what I'm saying? What y'all want him to do? But that ain't the case. You can't have a whole decade of ducking the best fighters year after year after year after year. I'm talking about, we talking about some of these fighters is at home, they ain't even fight no more. They done retired and shit. You know what I'm saying? They done retired, sitting at home with big bellies and shit, and you still out here ducking. Hey, that's a decade of ducking featuring the biggest duck in the history of combat sport, Gervonta DV Davis.